lot of arts and crafts and stuff like that. Today I decided to make something that's not only beautiful to look at, but also something useful. And I decided to go for, and what I've been working on for about 3 weeks, is a replica of an early Gibson 335 guitar, electric guitar. It's kind of an iconic guitar, and legends like B.B. King, Eric Clapton, Mark Knopfler, Chris Cornell. I kind of fell in love with just the look of it.
It will be mine. Oh yes, it will be mine.
So just sitting there, it'll be something good to look at. It's all spec'd out for like a 60s Gibson. It's got the maple flame body here, and I finished it in a sunburst. And rosewood fretboard, mahogany neck. I've got inlay with mother of pearl, not just a sticker. And it's going to have double humbuck pickups here, and a Tune-O-Matic bridge, and it's a 12-inch radius with double cutaways, semi-hollow body. So it's going to be pretty true to form. What I've done so far on this is I sanded her down, I assembled it, glued the neck in, did the staining, which started out with a complete black paint job to fill the grain, and then I sanded that completely off, and then just what was left was just deep in the grain. Then I stained it green and proceeded to do more black around the outside for the sunburst effect, and a little more gold in the center. I also stained the light mahogany, a dark mahogany with a hint of green in it. I don't know if you can pick up on that, but and I've got like 10-12 coats of poly already on it. This has yet to be buffed, but it's getting pretty darn close. So what I'm going to do today is do a final sand on the front here and do another couple coats of poly. Then we'll let her set, come back and do the buffing and then the assembly. So this is the finish of my vintage Gibson 335. I'll be starting out with actually a 2000 grit here, and I'm just going to do it lightly, just to scratch the surface again, hit off the hairs and the dust and whatnot. And this coat might actually not be necessary, but this is going to be my living room, and I'm going to be looking at it for a long time. And unless it looks really good, and you may not allow it in the living room, so. Just rub it down a little bit with a microfiber cloth here. And give it a little squirt with the brush there. And this is just a gloss wipe-on poly, which is like a true oil. Just put a little bit on. Try to wipe it around. And then finish off the strokes nice and even, so everything's wet all at the same time, so there's no lap marks. And it puts on, it's pretty thin, so it puts on a pretty thin coat, so you gotta put a lot of coats on. Yeah, if it starts to dry, then you do get the flash marks, and that's not cool. Make sure everything's covered, and then I'll finish off my final drag with my cloth here so that everything's nice and even. Looks pretty good. Okay, we'll let her dry and then do another coat. While I'm waiting for that to dry, I can work on the accessories. My laser cutting out the smaller items and customizing them, like the truss rod cover and the pickard, the card, pick guard, not quite sure, Jean-Luc. The standard one, yeah, it's a little boring, but I was working on a green one, very sweet looking, but it sort of blends in with the guitar, so I'm working on a mahogany one, and I'm going to do this, I'm going to try this one in mahogany. But this is actually a leather dye, but it's some pretty intense stuff. Kind of gives it mahogany. Now for the money side. I'm gonna start with 7,000 because it looks pretty good. It's just not quite perfect. And I'll steal from Flounder on Animal House.
Oh boy, is this great!
Okay, here we go. Let's see what we got. Final buff. Finally got her buffed up. Because after a coat's a finish, sometimes these components get a little tight. So definitely gotta mill out this guy. I can blow this guy off and start sticking stuff in. Yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is put the tuners on so I don't have to like lay it on the electronics when I'm screwing in these tuners on the back. Sort of a cowling here. Sort of a friction fit. I really don't want to pound it against the table, so I'm just holding it. I'm going to pre-drill the holes so I don't strip out the heads of the screws or anything when I'm doing it, but put a little tape on there to just make sure that I'm only going in so deep. And before I start soldering, I'm going to attach these pickups so they don't start to move around. But again, pre-drill the anchor. I still have a depth setting because I just don't need to go too deep. Okay, so I protected the body. Not going to tape directly to it because you can actually pull the finish off. First thing I got to do is get the ground wire into this bridge pickup, or bridge hole here. And so I'm just backwards pulling it through with a piece of thread because the hole is kind of like pretty small, and to get it in there and make it come through would be kind of tough. So I'm going to see if I can't get that through here. Oh, there we go. First thing I got to do is solder this to the post. Oh yeah. Wire still feels attached. Again, I'm not going to pound out of the table. Just going to hold it. Seat it down. There we go. The first one goes to the volume. The neck pickup goes to the volume pod. Grounds all get soldered together. Again, I'm going to use a clothespin as a third hand here. Soldering. Of course, my steady hands are great. One down, one to go. Wasn't so easy either. Basically got this hose and stuck them on the end of the things and pulled them through. That worked okay. But for the close ones, it's just much easier to use my fingers and spinning. Okay, now onto the bridge. be a little snug. Well, that was a little bit of a buzzkill, literally. I was hoping to be playing some sweet sounds out of this thing by now, and I kind of threw caution to the wind as far as the fretboard goes, thinking maybe it was okay, but it wasn't. It was kind of all over the place, kind of like the Bumble's teeth on Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer. So yeah, just buzzing everywhere. Third was huge. So the procedure, looking into it, is you gotta flatten these guys out with a sanding block, and you just put some Sharpie on all the frets, and then take your sanding block and sand until it's nice and even on all of them, but you gotta keep the radius going and everything, so pay attention to that and make sure that your stone isn't getting rounded or anything. Just make sure it keeps staying flat. And you can use sandpaper on a wood block too. Then the fret file to round them back off and then buff them up. And you want to leave like a line down the middle so it's rounded, and just a small area to press the strings down on. And it doesn't take much, just the file takes it down pretty quick. But you can already see there's a line right down the center. You can kind of see that there's a line down the center of each of those guys. And I clean them up a little bit more with this filing stone. They're still a little rough after the file here, and then they're still a little rough, so I'm going to start out with some 800 grit and then go to 2000, but basically just fold it over and start sanding each one of them, sides and around them. There's a polish already with 800. Buff them with a Dremel wheel. Got them all buffed up, and then I'm going to just, since I got the strings off, I'm going to rebuff these guys with a little bit of wood butter. It's my proprietary mix of, it's like 4 parts mineral oil to 1 part beeswax with 1 part turpentine in there, and it's a wood finish, a little harder than just mineral oil. The wax hardens, but same thing, it penetrates. Wipe her down, buff her off, make it look really good. I can't get these strings on. Let's see what we come up with.
I'd raise the bridge, file down the nut, and take the buzz out the low E.
God, I love this woman.
Yeah, I never understood what Cassandra was talking about there until I started this project. And now I understand, yeah, file down the nut. Basically what that entails is filing down each one of these string grooves. And you can use a gauge like 0.016 on the high E side and 0.02 on the low E side, and also just basically holding down between the 2nd and 3rd fret, and just a barely any sort of room between the 1st fret and the string. And I'm still a little high, but I'm taking it slow because I really don't know what I'm doing here. It's been a fun project, and one thing I do know is I have myself a very nice piece of art here, which is going to grace our living room for years to come. You'd need someone who actually knows how to play the guitar to assess this guitar, but we're just going to listen to it. A shout out to JC, who kindly gave me a category of guitar player that I'm in, which is professional beginner. I've been a professional beginner for 30 years, so that makes me a professional. And but we'll just listen to this thing and kind of see. I mean, sounds pretty good, and open chords are pretty nice and everything. And I don't have a whole lot in the bag, so we'll just try a couple of things. And these Gibson 335s are known for their sweet sound and everything, for like jazz. So maybe someday I'll pick up a little jazz. Right now it's a little beyond me, of course. Yeah, depending on how it goes, I might come back for a little bit of an update on how the progress goes, but until then, we'll see if we can make this catgut meow.
That's it. Cyril, that's it. I recognize it.
Damn right.
But you gotta play it much louder, okay?
Don't worry, I'll make this cat get meow.
Mike over and out.